Nicely.
Never heard that.
Friends, the entire community of IJKL, together with its leadership, decided this year to start honoring a particular individual every year for our Shabbaton.
We didn't.
And we decided to choose someone who has been with us like mamish from the beginning. Bereshit bara
Rick Wolfe.
Rick Wolfe. In the beginning, of IJKL's conception and creation was Rick Wolfe.
I wonder how he found us. How did he find us?
He consistently over more than 20 years, I think, has been with us in body and in spirit and in drum for every single Chag, every single Jewish holiday celebration, has been in a multiplicity of teachings at Kim's home and in many others' home. Rick is always there. He is always there. And I want to spotlight on two words that came to mind when I think of Rick Wolfe. The first one is a Yiddish word. And it's Stillerheit. How many Yiddishists? I know Hindi is right here. Even if you're not Yiddishists, still, what does still sound like? Still. Stillerheit is a beautiful expression that whenever I hear it or whenever I see Rick, these two go hand in hand. Stillerheit basically means anonymous. When a person does significant acts of chesed, acts of kindness, noble acts, but does it quietly, still. No fanfare, no advertisements, no fireworks. A person who just does the particular act of kindness, so lishma, so because of its own reason, that there is no fanfare involved at all. There's a sense of humility in the chesed that is flowing from his heart. And there's no need for anything else. There's no need for advertisements. There's no need for ego in this. Stillerheit means shh. Let's just do what we have to do. And that's what Rick has been known over the years. He just comes in, he does what he has to do and does it well, and does it with great intention and warmth and sincerity and love, and then leaves, right? And then as if I did. That's one word that comes to mind when I think of Rick Wolfe. The other word is the word ne'eman. So I know a lot of us think that the word ne'eman is obviously related to the word emunah, right? Which means faith. And Reb David mentioned this earlier on in the service. We mentioned the word emunah. But emunah does not really mean faith. Sometimes in the context it means faith. Emunah, or ne'eman, really means in its root, in the etymological. Etymologically. Etymologically. I just used it this week.
Maybe you can only use it once a week.
Ne'eman does not necessarily connote faith. It connotes faithfulness. Faithfulness. Because in the other Shirah in the Torah, we had Az Yashir today. At the end of the Torah, we have another Shirah, which is a whole parsha, which is the parsha of Ha'azinu, the second last parsha in the Torah, when Moses sings his last farewell song. And in that song, Moshe says about God, calls God El Emunah Ve'ein Avel. You are El Emunah. You can't say that God has sort of faith in itself. El Emunah in this context means you are a faithful God. You fulfill your promises. You fulfill your covenants. Even though it takes a little while, and sometimes those fulfillments come slow. But El Emunah, we can only have faith in a divinity that is actually faithful and reliable. And Moshe Rabbeinu himself, at the end of his life, and throughout all the generations afterwards, is actually called also an Ish Ne'eman. Not an Ish, a person who is a believer, who has faith. But Ish Ne'eman in this context means, Moshe, you are a faithful, reliable, steadfast shepherd of your flock. We can rely on you. And that's a word that comes to mind when we think of Rick. He is an Ish Ne'eman. He is reliable. He is steadfast. He is firm in his principles and his way of life, and has contributed to this community in general and to IJKL in particular in such quiet but yet enormous ways. I'd like just for a moment to describe some of the breadth of Rick's involvement. Rick and his faithful drum. Or
saxophone.
And I asked Rick to make me out a list, just to impress you, that it's not only IJKL that Rick is dedicating his energies and his vigor and his beauty to, but also other community organizations. Rick's been involved in South Florida Pride, Wind Ensemble, at Broward Center for the Performing Arts. That was in October 2019, especially a new piece that was played, Stonewall, 1969. Rick is involved in TAO Orchestra at the festival at Tobacco Road. Rick played at the inauguration parades of 2009 and 2013. In 2016, some of us know, Rick joined in the Lag BaOmer parade in Sfat on our institute trip to the Holy Land. 4 different opening ceremonies for gay games in Sydney, in Chicago, in Cleveland, and in Paris. He has played at pep rallies, at the Orange Bowl, that was also the opening act for the great Jimmy Buffett. And 2009, Rick, of course, joined us, IJKL, at the closing dinner of Anatico in Anatico House with many of our Israeli artists. That is only the tip of the iceberg of what Rick's large, expansive influence has in our community. So Rick, on behalf of the entire community, we would like to present you, Kim, what is the name? The name of the award?
The Drumbeat of our community.
Is the Drumbeat of our community. And with all sincerity, we give you a bracha. We are soon after you tear open the wrapping of this. I wonder what it is. After you tear open the wrapping, we are all going to get together and give you a yivarechecha, give you a blessing like you've never ever received. With our, Reb Zalman used to say that the Jewish community as a community and us as individuals, we underbless. We are a people that underbless. We don't bless enough. We don't bless each other enough. We don't pour out. Where do blessings come from? It comes straight from the chesed, the effulgence of kindness and compassion and gentleness. That's where brachot come from the deepest place within us that serves as a conduit for the word bracha is a blessing. Do you know how some people interpret the word bracha? It comes from the root word berecha, which means a pool or a reservoir. When we give a blessing, what we are doing is we are taking the reservoir, the pool of blessings that in potentia are waiting for us to grace us, and we are giving a blessing. We are serving as a pipe, as a conduit to open up the reservoir of blessing to come through us, the conduit, and to shower those blessings on the object or the subject of our blessings. So we're going to bless you really strongly, but only after you unwrap your award. And we hope that you use this in many, many on many occasions for smachot only. So Rick, that's when you go to the beach, you know, and you don't want to carry the big one.
It can be under the, so you can fly with it. There's a sort of diamond.
I see. And Kim, you have one other presentation?
We have another presentation.
Box.
A box. It's a box with chocolates?
It's a book, right?
He's quick.
It's very stuffy. Oh, it's every, oh, wow. A lot of the different pictures. So I'll put this up with the other three that I brought.
What is the title of it?
It's the picture that she put together to
Beautiful.
show this, which is actually from where on our 09 trip, from where the Talmud was supposedly written down.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I have to say that every email Rick writes to me, he starts it with, "Thank you for all you do." And every time I read it, I am so grateful. And I've incorporated the consciousness that when I start an email to someone who, it's like, "Thank you for all you do." It just means the world to me, and that you're someone who shows up and figures out what needs to do.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no, all the
Sometimes I
time.
figure it out. Sometimes
Yeah. If not, none of us do if you don't.
Did you want me to do this now?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. How I got to IJKL, it wasn't at the beginning. I got an email from Kim. She got my email address from a list from one of the Aleph Kolas. The event was a lecture and sale of artwork by David Friedman from Tzfat. This is at the Hallandale Jewish Center. And the email had the time of the services before the lecture. So I went to the services, which were conservative but close to Orthodox. And I was thinking, what have I got myself into? Only Rabbi Akiva was from IJKL at the service. The lecture was in the chapel, which evidently hadn't held out the water for many years. So I was not sure how long I could endure that smell, which I still can visualize. Well, most of you have had the pleasure of listening to David Friedman and his artistic presentation of Jewish themes, some of which are on my cajon. So I was hooked. I have been on a participatory musical Judaism path since the early 1990s with Rabbi Rami Shapiro, who led me to the retreat center at Alat Chaim, then in Accord, New York. My first week was taking classes with Shefa Gold, the chant leader, and Rabbi Zalman Shabbaton Shalomi. So I was up to doing pilgrimages to places such as a few trips with IJKL to Israel and some others, Corvallis, Oregon, Bellingham, Washington, Jonestown, Pennsylvania, Redlands, California, Amherst, Massachusetts, Ridge, New Hampshire, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Fort Collins, Colorado, the JCC in Manhattan, Easton Mountain in New York, Falls Village in Connecticut, and Columbia University. So what I love about this organization is the participatory celebrations and Jewish renewal programming. The celebrations are primarily funded by participants, but there's a need for dedicated money for the programming. So I'm proposing and will match gifts up to 67 within the next 5 years to the Zalman Shabbaton Shalomi Fund for Jewish Renewal Programming, and I hope you will join me in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Another Yiddish term is Gittin Neshama.
So Rick, I want you here, and I'm wondering if we could all rise and kind of like create a little
Touch someone who's touching Rick.
a little hugging circle. Look.
What does it say?
We can either hug Rick or raise our hands and let our blessings vibrate from up and upon him. We're just going to start with a little hymn, and then we'll add the Yivarechecha. Please join me.
Sing